last video, I talked about different risk factors for SIDS, why it sometimes happens. Unfortunately, nobody has found like a definite reason why SIDS happens. It's believed that there's different circumstances that come together that can cause SIDS. Or not also called, but it stands for sudden infant death syndrome. And this is when a baby suddenly dies in their sleep. There's usually not a clear explanation. They just stop breathing. So if you haven't watched the last video that talks about potential reasons why this happens, you can go ahead and watch that. But this video is the follow-up that gives different ideas for how to significantly decrease your baby's chances for experiencing SIDS. Okay, so you really want to practice healthy habits during pregnancy. The American Academy of Pediatrics reported that the babies of women who received regular prenatal care and did not smoke, did not use illicit drugs or excessive alcohol, had a lower risk for SIDS. You also want to, this is one of the most important ones, do not put baby to sleep on their stomach, face down. You want baby always to be put down to sleep on their back. Okay, another one is breastfeeding. So the American Academy of Pediatrics states that babies who are exclusively breastfed have a 50% lower chance of SIDS because breastfeeding provides so many benefits. Here are a few of them. Okay, so it supports the baby and more easily arousing from sleep, which is important to preventing SIDS. It decreases the incidence of diarrhea, upper and lower respiratory infections, and other infectious diseases. Those respiratory infections especially can contribute to SIDS. It supports the overall immune system, which is great, helps the brain systems that control the breathing, that control, I wrote that sentence wrong. Okay, essentially it helps the baby breathe. So a big risk factor for SIDS is that, say a baby has like think about sleep apnea. When somebody kind of stops breathing, usually their body auto-resuscitates, meaning that they gasp. Sometimes with SIDS, if their brain doesn't get the signal that it needs to gasp, that can lead to SIDS. So breastfeeding helps the baby send that signal to auto-resuscitate. It minimizes allergies that could cause inflammation in airways. And it also reduces, let's see if I can say this right, gastroesophageal reflux, also known as GER or GER. Supports the development of the oral cavity, throat muscles. That helps to keep the airways open. Also really important in preventing SIDS. And it also enhances the baby's awareness or the mother's awareness of the baby. So if breastfeeding is an option for you, that is a really great way to help reduce your baby's chance of SIDS. You also want to ensure that the crib is completely empty, and you want to use a sleep sack instead of a blanket. So you want to have baby sleep on a firm mattress with a fitted sheet and nothing else in the crib, not even bumpers. And if it's cold, you don't want to put a blanket on baby because this could bunch up around their face. You want them to wear a sleep sack, which is essentially like a wearable blanket that will not bunch up in their face. And if the weather is so warm that you're pretty much just using a sheet when you sleep, baby probably doesn't need anything more than a onesie, because you really don't want them to get too hot at night, which leads me into creating a cool environment. So it's really important, as I just said, to prevent or to keep baby from overheating, because this can increase the chance of SIDS. It can depress their body's ability to, as I mentioned before, auto-resuscitate. So we want them to stay somewhat cool. So you want to keep the thermostat between around 68, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to have a fan on in the room. And you do not want to put them to sleep in a hat, because a hat can trap heat. You also want to open the windows when the weather allows, because having that fresh, cool air, that fresh, cool, clean air can help to minimize the chance of SIDS. You can also cleanse the air in baby's room with plants and/or an air purifier. The air purifier is is a great thing to have, but you can also buy plants that have been proven to remove toxins from the air. My favorites are the peace lily, Gerbera daisy, florist chrysanthemum, and the English ivy. And of course, you want to place these plants well out of baby's reach, especially when they become mobile. In regards to the open window, if baby is mobile, you want to put a window guard in there so they can't climb out. Okay, it's also a good idea to use a firm Gaddis certified organic crib mattress or a toxin resistant mattress cover. This has not been conclusively proven, but some believe that crib mattresses that are treated with flame retardant can mix with mold created by different liquids excreted by baby, and it can create a toxic gas. So if you get an organic crib mattress, this for the most part eliminates that risk. Or you can also get a crib mattress cover that's usually labeled as a toxic gas shield. So that can help to prevent those toxic gases from reaching baby. You also want to make sure that whatever crib, whatever type of bed that you get for your baby, that it adheres to the Consumer Product Safety Commissioner's or Commission's guidelines. So this is a government organization that oversees the production of cribs, baby beds sold in the United States, or pretty much actually all products sold in the United States, and they can provide recommendations for purchasing a safe baby bed. So the website to go to if you want to find products that meet those guidelines, it's cpsc.gov/safe sleep. All right, the next one, and you might find this surprising, is you actually want to skip the swaddling. Do not swaddle. While the research is ongoing, there was a study published in the medical journal Pediatrics that found that swaddling might actually increase the risk of SIDS, as it could hinder a baby's ability to wake up if they have any cardiovascular stress. So don't swaddle, which I know goes against what we've heard for forever. Okay, have baby sleep in your room. This is another one that a lot of parents haven't heard yet. Have baby sleep in your room for at least the first year of their life. So there was a report done by the American Academy of Pediatrics that made this recommendation. And they said that this could actually reduce SIDS by about 50%. So there's not a definitive reason for this recommendation, but it's believed that a baby will arouse easier when they're sleeping in a room with others, and that parents are better able to monitor the baby when they're in the same room. And with that said, you can consider getting a bedside sleeper for the baby. So this is like a type of bassinet where one of the walls of the bassinet comes down. So this allows you to easily access the baby. You push it right up next to your side of the bed. So they're not necessarily in bed with you, but they're right next to you in their own little sleep space. If you get a bedside sleeper, again, go to the Consumer Product Safety Commission website to make sure that the bed meets safety standards. More than likely, it will have a thin, firm mattress that's no more than about 1 inch in thickness. And it's also ideal for them to have like net or mesh walls because this increases airflow. Okay, this is a really, really big one. Stay away from cigarette smoke. So being exposed to cigarette smoke significantly increases a baby's chances of SIDS. So you definitely want to remove baby from any area where someone is smoking. If you smell cigarette smoke, get baby out of there. And unfortunately, smoke can linger in furniture, carpets, clothing. So if anyone in your household smokes, they really should quit. You also don't want anybody that's a smoker to hold baby with clothes that they were wearing when they were smoking, because again, the smoke can linger in their clothes. Okay, finally, you want to ensure that babysitters and other care providers adhere to your sleep standards for the baby. So again, whenever anybody else is caring for baby, clearly go down your list for sleep rules. So always sleep on their back, no swaddling, a cool room. Again, make a list of what you feel most comfortable with. In regards to a babysitter, walk them through this list, really, really reiterate how important it is for them to follow, give them the list so they can make sure they check everything off when they're putting baby down. In regards to like a nursery, a daycare center, you can ask them, like, what is your protocol for when the babies sleep? Can you, if it doesn't meet your criteria, ask them to do whatever it is that you're wanting. And something else that might happen is you might get in-laws, parents, older family members that are resistant to your rules. They're like, I raised 10 kids. You don't need to tell me how to put a baby down to sleep. The sad thing is, back in the day, common practice was to put babies to sleep on their stomach. So you really want to make sure that those people know that it's not a request, but you are letting them know very clearly how to put the baby down to sleep if they want the privilege of watching the baby. It might feel a little bit harsh, but it's important. Okay, I said finally before, but this is the real finally. Contact your pediatrician if your baby has any respiratory issues. Because those respiratory issues can increase the baby's chances of SIDS, you really want to get baby looked at if they have any breathing problems. I think that's it. I have a list of like, how many sources? Like 15 different medical journals that I pulled information out of for this video. If you want that list, please let me know. I'd be happy to send it to you if you want to look deeper into this. And again, if you haven't watched the video that preceded this one, go ahead and watch that. I believe I called it like common SIDS risk factors. Okay, if you have any questions about this or anything at all about pregnancy, childbirth, early motherhood, let me know in the comments below.